All right, so y'all can see the broker time slide.
I see your forehead.
Yeah, you don't see the slide.
Question, yeah. Well, you can always see it. You don't see the slide?
Yes,
No.
you
Oh,
see
you
it.
do, okay.
I see it.
You say, I see your forehead. Everyone sees my forehead.
It's
In every
frozen on my,
picture that I
yeah, it's,
have,
uh,
my forehead is front and center. All right, so a few questions first, and then we'll get to the stuff. Um, Broker questions of the week. How does an entity, LLC, or trust purchase a property? Anyone know the answer to that one?
As the entity.
As the entity.
And
And
the
then
signatories
what
are the
does it mean?
trustee, or if it's an LLC, it's the managing member.
Right. That's the key. Um, also, on this is some folks will try to go, they'll say entity because they're just new investors, and then they'll run to try to get a loan in the entity's name. And the bank says, well, no, you have no money. So they don't understand that they have to give money for themselves to then get money for the entity. The buyer is the entity, but the signature is the owner. There's my um, there's my YouTube link there. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have this the right way to sign contracts. Um, so that's the I was gonna put that QR code in there, but I'll come back to that in a minute. All right, so that's the answer to that one. Does the home seller have to carry rental insurance if they have a post-settlement occupancy agreement? It's not necessarily rental insurance, but here's what the post-settlement occupancy says. Buyer bears the risk of damage or loss to property resulting from fire, flood, all that stuff. Seller will maintain an insurance policy through deadline. Now, I want to point out what deadline is. Deadline is not when they leave the house. If they leave a day or two before their deadline, they need to have insurance for their personal property through the deadline. If all this stuff's out, I don't know why they would have to have that insurance, but that's what it says. And then the buyer will maintain a homeowner insurance policy adequate to protect buyer's interest in property from settlement and during the period of this agreement through the deadline. All right. Must the seller remedy all HOA violations? What do y'all think?
yep. Or they have to give a credit or something, don't they?
Hmm.
Or,
I understand the answer is
But it
different.
doesn't stop. Yeah, it
It's a
doesn't
trick
stop closing.
question. Yeah.
Yep.
why?
It's a trick question because the answer is it depends. Now
Yep.
the
Well,
HOA now real quick, the
Yep.
HOA documents must be delivered regardless of them waiving the other stuff. This is state law. So you
mhm.
have to deliver the documents. The other question is, okay, well, what if they find defects that have to be done? And then what if they have a battle with their HOA to get it finished? So let's start with number one. Under contract 19, seller will pay any special assessments and comply with all orders or notices given by county, local, but also the condo and HOA actions. We have one right now where the owner is leaving, and the owner before him had installed marble floors in the kitchen. And then it apparently caused a lot of noise to the unit below. And so now this new owner is leaving, and there's a debate going on with his neighbor below that it does not have the 80% of carpet required. Now, the neighbor below is the president of the HOA who has not seen the inside of the house. But now you have this thing going on. Closing is, I think, next week. What do you do if the HOA is not moving fast enough? And the HOA is adding words. The board is adding stuff that's not in the requirements. It says carpet. It doesn't say pad and carpet. And now they're saying, well, you got to have you have pad on that too. So the challenge you have here for the seller is, can I get the buyer to inherit this? Yes, you can. But what buyer wants to inherit y'all's little spat? And you really do have another issue where the board is putting on another layer in their emails to what they want. It's not even really in the regulations, but they're holding to it. So what would you have to do with that when the board is putting in an extra layer?
That's a extra real estate contract action. Extra meaning outside.
Mhm.
It
Right,
does that.
I'm sorry. So the contract, there you go, got that. But now I got this board of directors that's saying you got to do this, this, and this, but it's not in the rules and regulations.
Can they do that? Can they say that? If it's
Yeah, they
not,
can say it all they
Yeah,
want.
but
I
it
don't think
doesn't
they
mean
can
it's
do anything
enforceable,
about it.
right?
it's a breach of contract
Yeah.
between the condo owner and the condo association.
Yeah. But how do you prove that?
Well, they're violating the stated bylaws or
Their
covenants.
Someone's got to go
manual.
to court.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You got to go
that's
to court to hold the HOA accountable. The challenge now is that you have this buyer that has this issue with the HOA, which is not a voidable event. It says the seller will do it. I don't know. Scott, what do you think, Mr. Attorney? Could I void based on this line here that you've not obeyed all the orders?
Nope.
Because
I
it's a
mean,
contract, you're
so
in
the
breach.
question, yeah, I don't know. A is there a case law saying that's addressed that, or and is it applicable because a decision down in Goochland doesn't necessarily impact us up here.
Right.
I'd unless I mean my view has always been unless there's case law countering this, that that is an order that has not been addressed by the seller.
Hmm.
And so therefore you have not complied with your obligations under the contract. Now the question becomes, well, is that a breach of contract or is that avoidable action?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing: you can claim that it's avoidable, and what's the seller going to do?
Yeah. Now I
I
know that
mean,
we avoided contracts because here's the problem. Seller will pay, obey all orders, and this is the problem with this paragraph. Or what? There's no consequence.
right.
In other parts of the paragraph, you will do X, Y, Z. If you don't, then this will happen. We used to have on the paragraph of, I think it's actually in this paragraph, that the seller will deliver a clear and marketable title. And we have actually voided contracts based on the fact that they can't. And the parties so far have agreed to it. You've got a lot issue and you haven't taken care of it, so you can't give me a clear marketable title, void.
You know, if you think
Anthony.
about from a buyer perspective, let me just make this comment on you.
Mhm.
From a buyer perspective, they haven't cleared an HOA violation and you want to void. Whether technically you have the legal right to do that, I would argue it's important, but it's also not the end of the discussion because what is a seller going to do? They want to sell the house. If they don't agree that that's voidable and do the release, they can't sell it to anybody else because then they'd have to go in and file a lawsuit for specific performance.
Yeah.
So my guess is a seller is just going to, even if they say, well, technically that may not be legal, but their objective is to sell the house, and the only way to do that is you close things off with that buyer and move on.
Yeah.
I think.
Anya, what was your comment?
Well, I was trying to clarify or get a clarification for when there is HOA violations, seller is responsible to remedy it. Yet the buyer can assume the violations if they choose to, right? It just has to be in
Yes,
writing.
they
So
can.
what happens when, ninth hour, right before closing, the violations are still not cleared? Are we saying that this is avoidable
No.
time for a buyer to refuse it, or you pushing closing, or what? Because there's really truly no consequences to the seller, and seller might say, well, fine, then void, I'll relist it and I'll put it on the market again, and then I'll disclose that there's HOA violation, so somebody has to take them
Yeah.
as is.
Everyone I've talked to is that they say it's not voidable. Um, I would submit it had, like Scott said, it hasn't been tested yet.
So I guess what do you do in
Yeah.
a scenario? Because let's say is
Yeah.
it the same situation as it is with, let's say, home repairs? If the repairs are not done, you
Yeah.
can't refuse to close. Now you just have to sue them after the fact or trying to work things
Yeah.
out at
Right.
settlement. Is this the same type of situation that if it's not voidable, then you basically are trying to work things out, or you have to sue the seller?
I would say that's correct. Or try to get some money in escrow to take care of any problems that might come up. Here's the thing. The paragraph about default has a clear path. You must sign. If you don't sign, you're in default and you will lose your deposit. This does not have a clear path. You will deliver and obey all the orders. And if I don't, I mean, same thing with the title issue.
Yeah, why can't they make this clear? Like, what happens if the seller
Yeah,
doesn't remedy the violations by closing? I mean, are they
yeah.
obligated to close, or is it something that could be then delayed? Like, I don't
Mhm.
know. This
I've
is
talked with
just,
David Robertson about it, and he's like, that's a really good question. Because in Anthony, this is a hole in the contract. Because
well, the hole needs to be fixed because
yeah,
it's a like it's open to, like, our client's going to demand an answer. Like,
yeah,
what do we do
right,
now? Like, what
So
happens?
right.
I mean, it needs to be clear, but I tend to come down on this is an affirmative action in the body of the contract. Seller will comply with all orders, blah, 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 including HOA. The issue with a home inspection contingency is that is an addendum where the parties agree to do certain actions. So that to me takes it more into breach of contract. This
Mhm.
is seller failing to do a mandatory obligation in the contract as initially signed.
Yeah, it's a
So,
breach. It's
Anthony,
truly
are
they're
we?
in breach, but are they in default? They're not in default unless they don't sign.
Anthony, are you able to reach out to the NVAR attorneys and get a clear answer from them? Like, what's the recourse over here?
I'm able to.
Pretty please?
Yeah, I will. Okay. Yeah,
With the
I'll
cherry
give
on
them a
top?
buzz. I'll say, look, this just keeps coming up, and it's these two issues. It's about HOA violations and it's about clear title. And if they don't, then what? There is no then what in these paragraphs. But anyway, the question was about HOA, and that's the what was the first question? Yeah, they must be delivered. They have to be done completed. And then here's the other party, though. The Virginia Resale Disclosure Act, paragraph 8, gives you these blanks here. Remember, it used to be 3 days. If you leave them blank, it is 3 days. But now the law has changed. Hey, look, y'all negotiate what you want. If you put 0 and 0 here, it means the day of ratification is the deadline. Okay. Parties can negotiate how many days to review. 0 means the day of ratification. Um, excuse me. 0 up here would be day of ratification. 0 here will be the day that you receive it. That's another way to play around with this. I want to be competitive. What do I do? Well, if you've got the documents, this first paragraph, and you put 0 here, then the day you ratify, that's your day. And then the second paragraph or the second blank, once you receive them, you've got that day. You get them today, and you don't have till tomorrow. You got till tonight. Just hope you don't get it at 11 p.m. And then finally, on this issue, in the contingency and clauses addendum, paragraph 2,
Anthony,
clauses B. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm going to be annoying. Regarding the deadline, because I seem to be confused because there are two different things that I keep hearing on the HOAs. The delivery, is it 12 midnight or 9 p.m.?
9 p.m.
Okay, because I used to be under the impression that was 12 midnight.
No, it's still 9 p.m. I think there is something in the contract that's midnight, but I don't remember what it is. But all deliveries are 9 p.m.
Okay.
Home inspection,
Mhm.
document responses.
I thought the HOAs were the exception of midnight because it was
Yeah.
72 hours.
They may
Anya,
have, but
it used
yeah,
to just say 3 days.
that's
And
right.
so then the question was, from a seller perspective, you run it to midnight or 11:59. From a buyer perspective, you use the 9 p.m. cutoff to make sure you're on the right side. But since they put 9 p.m. into this rewritten paragraph, I think that,
Oh, it does say 9 p.m.
yeah,
Duh.
I think that
Yeah. Well,
clarifies
no, you're right, Anya. Before it didn't. It just said 3 days.
3 days.
Okay.
And that was the confusion. I think this is either this last time or 2024 when this changed.
But now I see the double E. It says until 9 p.m. So actually it does say 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right. And finally, on this issue, you can negotiate that the requirements to comply are waived. So a buyer can waive, hey, look, everything. And here's the one last piece on this. A violation may be you didn't file an application. They don't care about the porch. They don't have it in their records and they want it cleared up. Because I've had a lot of people get all wrapped around the axle about the application and say, well, they're not dinging you for the porch. They're saying the porch has no application. Hopefully they would say the porch has no application and these three things need to be fixed that are defective on the porch. That would be tell me that there is actually something about the porch rather than it just being you don't have an application. Not having an application in file is a violation. So there you go. All right. Now let's go to plugging my computer in so it doesn't die midpoint. Hold on a second.
You should have your AI agent remind you to do that.
Yeah, thank you, AI agent.
Anthony, can I share something while you're doing that?
Yes.
There has been a Alexandria City Council on Wednesday. They are proposing to increase the B poll tax for agents, for real estate agents. And so this is something that would affect everyone in Kingstowne, I believe. Also, anyone who lives in Alexandria would be able to fill out a call to action on this, whether you oppose it or you're for it. The stance from NVAR is that they are opposing it because they were not involved in the conversation about, one, raising this, and two, because it negatively affects a single industry. So anyways, I just am putting it out there. I just shared something with the office for everyone. If you don't agree with raising the B poll tax, that you can just click on a call to action and type in your information, specifically if you're an Alexandria worker or an Alexandria, if you live in Alexandria.
I think it says Alexandria City, which is different.
Alexandria City, sorry.
Yeah, Kingstowne office is in Fairfax County, not in Alexandria City. But I was actually, I saw that yesterday too, and I was thinking, does it affect us or is it just pertaining to Alexandria City itself?
It's
But
those city
regardless-
businesses, but if we can speak out for our
Right, of
brothers and
course.
sisters in the industry, it'd be good to do that.
My bank account would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, because
I was gonna
I think where Megan may be coming from is like we need to rouse up and scream
Yeah,
so
together.
that Arlington and Fairfax say, "Oh well, no one
We
complained."
mix.
Yeah.
I think
So
as
the
many
rest of
people
them-
as can click on it as possible would
Yeah.
be great.
I mean,
Rest of them will
come
follow.
on, guys. I mean, they want that money. They already get the 1% on each side on the WMATA and the road
Congestion
tax.
relief fee.
And and then they got all the recording fees. Why? In essence, it's another income tax. In essence, what it becomes. That's what I say about it. All right.
Now we're
Okay.
talking about, let me just, this is kind of a positive thing,
Mhm.
not isolated to City of Alexandria. It's all jurisdictions in Virginia. I just found out that the Virginia court system, and I'll send an email out about this with a little more details, but they just instituted a new program where, let's say I live in City of Alexandria. I can register my name and property with the circuit court in City of Alexandria, and it is a deed protection alert system. So it doesn't prevent a filing, but if any filing happens relating to the property you identify, an email will get sent out to whoever is the notice receiving party, which is a pretty interesting. It's free. It's just started like in the last month. So something for all of us to be aware of and be able to let our clients know when they don't know about it. So I'll send an email out about it.
Great.
Pretty cool program.
Thank you. All right, so y'all know I'm falling in love with this notebook thing here. This is my latest thing I did. This is a social posting that I instructed it to do. The anatomy of a market leverage. Remember the reports I gave you on Tuesday about under 7 days, it's selling quickly, and then under this, and then between 8 and 59 days, it's doing this. Well, I took that and just made a post out of it for an infographic, vertical, to do the same thing. So that's what I did here. So a few things I want to express on this is these are great, but as far as I understand, AI does not pick up all this text on this image. So when you do that, you do need to put in here, there are 3 real estate markets at this moment in northern VA. The graph of Fairfax County below demonstrates the wise versus foolish sellers. The top tier prepares and prices correctly up front, April 2026. I'm telling AI, Northern Virginia real estate, Fairfax County, April 2026, and I said real estate market. So as you're starting to use these tools and republish things, we want to be getting sought here and found on AI searching. AI searching is looking for an answer, not a website. So that's why when you search for something on AI, like in real estate, someone's blog post with a URL this long may show up, but not their front page. Okay. So that's just a point there. This is in my link to LinkedIn. By the way, if you've got a YouTube channel, YouTube also has a posting function now. So this is YouTube, my YouTube channel, and this is where I posted that. I gave it a little bit more information. Northern Virginia's real estate market in April 2026 is divided into 3 tiers. The hottest is selling in less than 7 days. The next level is 21 to 59 days. The final piece is over 60 days, which is 11% of the market. Just a little bit of something there. But you want that 2026 there in April, because the people are saying, how's the real estate market in April? Right? So that's how that works. All right. Now, what I'm working on and what I want to talk with you about is the notebook section of your Gmail. This morning, I went ahead and subscribed to the $20 a month. They're going to bankrupt me with these $20 a month fees, you know.
You'll
You
make it
don't
up in
have to
business.
have it, but I was making so much. I said, sorry, you reached your limit for the day. I'm like, dang it. So it stopped me. And so what I wanted to show you, though, let's see, which one's this one? Okay, let me go to the other one. This is the free one that it stopped me on, and I went back to my personal one and subscribed. But here, I want to show you how I did that little graphic that I sent out. All I did was inserted Mary Had a Little Lamb. That's all I did. I found the text of it, and this is the first verse. There's like 3 more verses, but I did this and I said, go. And it said, okay, the devotion of Mary's Lamb is what this system called it. This classic poem describes a devoted young girl and her unusually loyal pet sheep. It gives a summary of what the poem's about. And then over on the right side here, you choose what you want to do. I want a slide or I want an infographic. Now, the infographic, I just went to here. I think I did 2 versions. One was, I think, business, professional, and the other one was kawaii. And I gave it a standard. I said, just do the standard. You can make it landscape or portrait. I would submit we need to start doing portrait, though the one I sent out to y'all was landscape. Okay. I'm not going to generate it because it takes a little time to do it, but I just want to show you what we got. So this is the Kauai version. Seemed a little busy to me. Mary's Little Lamb, a school day adventure, a loyal companion, the school day surprise, joy in the classroom. And then the other one was the Lego version. So there's the Lego version of Mary Had a Little Lamb. The lamb's unscheduled school day, the loyal companion, fleece white as snow. The lamb is characterized by its distinctive pure white wool, a constant presence, unauthorized arrival. And then they made the children laugh and play. And I thought this was pretty cool. It took a, I assume this is a spoof, but this is the deck that it gave me on the ovine intrusion and the compliance paradox. So it's like, case study, unauthorized asset introduction. Asset biomarker tag identifies primary physical anomalies. The fleece was white as snow. All right. And then it said, everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. This is the shadowing metric dictates an unbreakable orbitable radius. So asset node, there's a handler node is Mary. This is asset node. I don't know what it means, but this is what it put out as the presentation. So now I just wanted to do Mary Had a Little Lamb, not knowing what I was going to get without any direction from me, for you to see this is very, very simple. And so the key here is, what do I put in to the system? All right. What is my prompt? What do I give it? You don't even this notebook, when you go to infographic, it gives you these selections of styles. So Lego bricks, bento grid, instructional, and you can choose that. You say you want it standard, and you give it some guidance down here if you want. Okay. So then, before it broke down on me, I went to the Prince William County, which is probably something more like you would want to do. Yeah, this one is, I put all this in here, and so it broke down on me, and I said, okay, well, let me go to my personal account, and I'm paying for it now. And what I did is I went to Prince William County because I haven't done any Prince William County yet. I pulled this graphic, and then below it, I highlighted all this information here and copied it. Inserted the graphic as a file, okay? And then down here, you can type in or paste whatever you have found and logged it in, okay? And then you pick what you want. Now, here's what I like about the deck. I am still posting information from the one I did on what's going on with the market. I'm just using the deck as my graphics. I copy it, I post it. So this right here is a posting. So I don't have to keep recreate. Just do a deck, and now you got 6 posting possibilities for that month. This one says, now this is where I would need to put, I probably should have instructed it, identify each slide with Prince William County, Virginia. I didn't, but I can still do that in the text that I'm doing when I'm posting it. Transaction volume explodes while values hold steady. Up 39% compared to February. Up 36% compared to March 2025. This is a great graphic. And all I did was put in the chart graphic from Prince William County, Prince William Association Realtors, and their news release. That's all I put in here. I didn't tell it to do anything. It picked everything about this. It picked the floor plans behind it. It did all of that. High velocity, critical scarcity. This is the kind of stuff that people will look at. All right. And then spring pipeline, new listing fuel transactions, more charts. What I'm finding is you get this one's okay, but it's okay only if you have it on a desktop. If you think about looking at this on a phone, you will not be able to read that text. And so that's something to take into account um, when you're looking at doing that. Okay. And then the final piece about the data, where it came from. So then I said, well, you know what? Give me one. I think this is it. No, that's not it. This one. So then I requested it to give it to me in a vertical instead of in a landscape. And so these are the verticals that I can now post up in my don't like that one too much. This one's good. This one's good. I like that one. I really like this one. And then there's a, now I will tell you this, with all these, whenever there's a QR code involved, you're going to have to replace that. AI doesn't understand what it's doing. Every QR code it's created me goes to nowhere, but it sees some sort of URL, some sort of website, and tries to make a code out of it, and it's not there. Now, and I don't know, I'll figure out how I can do this. You would also want to have Notebook on your phone, because then whatever you do here shows up on your phone. And then from your phone is where you can really play around. Like, I'll take this graphic, make the one picture out of it, and then post it on my socials. I am also going to be experimenting with this week, probably before this weekend, to create my postcard I'm going to mail out. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm like, this is putting stuff together a lot better than I can. Anyway, so any questions?
Just a comment about AI.
Yeah.
So I just used Claude, and I asked them to create a market update snapshot for me for an open house that I'm hosting this Saturday. And I give it just 2 comps, and I asked it to add 1 more comp for me, like 3 more comps, and it gave me wrong comps from like 29 years ago. So I was like, where did you get this comp from? And they were like, oh, sorry, gotcha. This is wrong. This is the wrong data. We don't have access to MLS. We got it from Redfin. But yeah, it is, you should always check if it's accurate or not, because it was not accurate.
Well, let me comment, take 2 steps further back than that. If you're going to use any of the AI tools to create infographics, your starting point has to be like what Anthony did here. He's going to Prince William County Association of Realtors, pulling their infographic, pulling their narrative summary of the data, importing that into the AI tool in a query, and then you start talking about creating an infographic. If you ask it to create an infographic on anything current, market environment, you're wasting your time, because it's going to pull bad info. If you're going to use AI, you have to be very specific upfront with data and what you're asking it to do. And then it becomes a productivity tool.
Yeah. A lot of agents have made the mistake of, I mean, I've seen videos, they look sharp. Look, I got this done in 60 seconds. And it's an agent that does not realize they're pulling from websites and not our database. And I think the only way you could put in a prompt to get values is if Bright MLS launches some sort of AI inside of it and says, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for. Give me a value." Now, I'm not sure if that's what NARRPR is doing. I don't know if there's a because that's probably honestly that's probably the level where it's going to have to come from is a national level to have the money to do it. But it's got this is a house I held open. It's got a value here. It has a range of 1.265 to 1.31. Um, and if you're looking for, and I'll tell you how I use these automatic systems. I just go in, I print the page, and I send that, and then I go to Remine, and I print the page, and I send that. I said, this is what I've gotten from the automated systems, which many times can be incorrect. But now let me see your house. We'll walk through it. I'll see what you've done, and then from that, um, it I can actually go in and get a real price. And then the market will tell you if you're over or under. That's the real AI. It's like, how's your price? Well, I haven't got any visitors. So,
Yeah, I would not use AI for anything relating to trying to do a CMA
What'd you
in
get?
terms of data. It can
yeah.
be useful in organizing that data and presenting it in a compelling way. But if you use it to try to create data or order it, you're going to spend twice as much time and get a less desirable outcome than
Yeah.
go in, do your research, pull data that's relevant based upon your professional judgment. And then, particularly if you've already worked out a template with AI for a CMA presentation, now you're just plugging values in.
Mm-hmm. And and so where I've gotten these graphs that I'm showing you, and I say, look what AI did. AI did it, like Scott said, with the data I uploaded because it can't go behind the Bright MLS wall to get that data. You still have that human element involved there to grab that data from the computer or from our network and upload that. Now, I'm really going down the path on this, and you're going to hear Scott and me talking about this, and Yoster and me talking about this, and just keep on talking about it because, folks, what has stopped us from posting and promoting and marketing and outreaching? I don't know what to send out. I mean, look what I got with Mary Had a Little Lamb. Imagine if you take something from a real estate oriented press release from Fairfax City or Fairfax County. Say, hey, here's the press release. Give me a understandable, give me an interpretive infographic about what they're talking about here. And then you said people, and I looked this up. When I was doing all this information on, which one am I in? Yeah, let me go back here. Let me explain why I did this cost of time thing. Um, Wrong one. I did this production here because I asked chat, I'm like, how, after it gave me all this data, I said, what's the best way to present this? Is it Apple pie charts? Apple pie charts. Is it pie charts? Is it graphs? Is it infographics? And the thing came back to me and said, charts are not the way to do this. And I never really thought of it before. This takes no analyzation. This slide right here. Oh, 63.9%. Blah, blah, blah. Great. This, even though it's clear, you have to stop and read it to see what it's talking about. And that's what the AI was picking up, is that you give them a chart, they're going to have to analyze it. And what are they doing on social? Soomp, soomp, soomp. They just want the information given to them immediately. This you still got to read, but it's a lot easier. Okay. This one you still got to read, but it's a lot easier. This one, while I love it, as a business person, understanding what I'm talking about, the consumer is looking at that going like, what is this? And they have to read it to understand it. So when you are looking at what do I want to create through Notebook, and I I hit the wall on Notebook this morning on the free version. Okay, so because I was going to town with it, and and it said, okay, you've reached your limit for the day. Come back tomorrow. ChatGPT on images will at least say come back at 2 o'clock or something, you know. So like, oh yeah, I'll be back. You know, and I'm like, well, I'm working. I can't do that. So that's why I went ahead and subscribed. I might um leave chat because I'm gonna look at see if this notebook is interaction with Gemini um to do
And
that.
the other thing everybody should think about with respect to Notebook, look on the right hand side. Both slide deck and infographics are in beta. If you
Hmm.
talk to anybody who used AI a year ago, which wasn't me,
Hmm.
and how is AI now? Imagine what this notebook is going to be able to do with infographics and slide deck 6 months
Hmm.
or 12 months from now.
Yeah.
That's the really impressive thing with Notebook.
Yeah. And I'm just amazed that they have so many tools that are free right now. And I think that's kind of the nature of all this stuff. Hey, here's the free version. Oh, you want something else? Give us $20 a month. And
Yeah.
I fell for it. So there we go.
Well, I mean, you'll make that
Right.
the thing that I'd say. I have been using ChatGPT heavy now for let's say 2 months,
Hmm.
and so I did so it's $240 a year. The amount of value that I've already gotten out of that is multiples of that,
Yeah.
and I am convinced agents will get business from using AI. And I don't
Hmm.
mean rando people that just happen to see your post. I mean, just
Hmm.
your ability to communicate with people in your sphere and demonstrating professional excellence online.
Right.
That's going to result in a transaction, which now we're talking about you're leveraging $240 a year to make 15, 20, 25,000.
Yeah.
That's the business argument for using AI.
Yeah. I mean, since I've been posting a little bit more, because I'll tell you what this has done for me, folks, is that it's not it's not made yeah, it has made my posting better. But what I really doing is it's actually giving me more um I'm not worried about what I'm posting. So, I'm down on my post impressions a little bit the past 7 days, but it definitely has shot up because now I'm just throwing things out there that are quick and easy. All right, well, and this last piece here, mobile versus desktop statistics. It is the push is that 97.8% global access the internet on their smartphones. So whenever you are putting something together statistically or a post, you need to look at that and say, will my tribe be able to see this on their phone? That's kind of the last piece of it. Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Anything else? Okay.